Have you noticed that much of what we see in the sales world today is antisocial? Pitch slaps, false compliments, inauthenticity, and sometimes outright disinformation? Welcome to the All Selling is Social podcast, where we look at ways that we can be social in our selling efforts, no matter how we're reaching out. Each week, we talk to top sales leaders and trainers to learn what's working for them, how we can learn to talk with people, not talk at them. Join your host, Bill McCormick, and let's develop a sales game that feels as good as it works. Let's get social.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the All Selling is Social podcast. This week, my guest is Joe Mindak. Joe, welcome to the show.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here, Bill. Excited to chat with you. We've had some good conversations already, so
We sure have, and I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it too. So Joe is a seasoned entrepreneur, over 25 years of experience building and scaling businesses across a wide range of industries. His entrepreneurial journey began right out of college when he founded a marketing company, which he grew into a multi-million-dollar enterprise over 2 decades before successfully exiting. Joe's a true serial entrepreneur. He's launched ventures in publishing, craft beer, wedding tech, music festivals. So a plethora, I would say. Always driven by creativity and a sharp eye for opportunity. He currently leads the Connective, and that's how I know Joe. It's a growing network of businesses that collaborate by sharing referrals and commissions. Since its launch, the Connective has expanded to more than 10 states and grown to over now 500 members. To support the rapid growth of the Connective, Joe helped develop Nolodex, which is a platform designed to track and manage referrals. He now leads sales and marketing for Nolodex with a focus on expanding into networking groups, chambers of commerce, co-working spaces. His 2 decades of marketing experience give him a unique advantage in reaching and engaging these audiences. Joe's relentless drive, innovative thinking, and deep entrepreneurial experience continue to fuel his ventures and inspire those who work with him. And he's also a brand new author with a new book that just came out, which is called Connectors Get Paid. So Joe, so happy to have you here. You've been involved in just a couple of things. You've been a little lazy. I'm glad to see maybe you're trying to step up your game now.
trying now.
But
It's about time I
yeah,
did something with my life, So
exactly. But so I want to talk about networking because it's one of those things, we all know your network is your net worth and those things, and we say those things. But when it comes to networking, I think many small business owners, entrepreneurs, even salespeople kind of failed to do it the right way, or even just failed to do it. But what I really want to talk about is the change, right? We've seen a huge change in how networking has happened from probably the 2017-18 period to where we are now. So I'm just curious, what changes have you seen? What do you think are the big changes right now?
Well, obviously the big change is going online and before COVID we were all meeting in person and that was great. Look, it's always awesome to meet somebody in person, shake hands. I was at a networking event last night in New York City. It was awesome. It's good to be out and talking to people and meeting them. But the convenience of it is kind of tough. So when COVID hit, we obviously pivoted like most people and just started doing online Zoom calls, and we've stuck with that since because we've actually been able to expand our network pretty drastically because before, if you weren't in the New York area, how you gonna come to our networking group, right? So once we were able to go online, we were like, okay, I could have my buddy from Ohio join our group. I could have someone from Australia join our. So I think most have gone online. I know a lot of people are still doing the in person, which is good. If you're those local, smaller kind of networking groups that are very local and doing business with each other, yeah, you should meet in person. But to really expand and for us, we're all B2B businesses and we're all across the country and other countries. The online is great. I mean, you don't have to drive an hour. When we had our meetings in the city, it was an hour for me. It was an hour and a half to get there, for an hour and a half meeting, and then an hour and a half. Most of the meeting was driving, so that's been great. And then a lot of platforms have come up to help people with that, communicating amongst each other in those groups. So there's a lot of different platforms out there that help with the community. So I think community is the buzzword with networking, right? How do you build these online
Hmm.
communities and grow? So yeah, so it's been a big change, but it's been great for us. We're actually at 17 chapters and 560 members. We'll probably be at
Yeah.
600 by the end of the month or so. So it's been great.
Yeah, and I'm one of the new members.
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows, I was on the I Know a Guy podcast with Anthony Markey, and before I go on any podcast, I like to listen to a podcast, and I listened to Joe's episode and heard him talk about Noladex and the Connective. I'm like, I need to know more about this.
Yeah.
And as soon as I heard about it, I'm like, I'm in, I'm in. So what would you say is the biggest challenge to, we already talked about, I mean, the challenges of in-person networking is the geography and the travel. I was in a BNI, different BNI groups years ago, and it was, a half-hour drive to an hour and a half meeting, and then a one-to-one, and I'd have to get up at, oh God, o'clock, because the
Right.
meeting started at 7. But what do you think are the biggest challenges to online networking meetings?
Um, I guess I mean the one challenge is when you're having those meetings. So we have a bunch of 8 o'clock meetings, and West Coast people can't really make those meetings because they're 5 o'clock. So
Hmm.
it's you have to have a spattering of the different meetings. So what we did was we moved a bunch of our meetings to the afternoons, like 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon to accommodate to let people on the West Coast because no one, as much as we think our group is great, you know, who wants to get up at 5 a.m. to get on an 8 o'clock call, right? So that's one of the challenges. I have it. I think, people, tend to just kind of not show up to those meetings. If they have another client, they're so big. We're so busy with so many Zoom meetings that if a client calls, they think they got to stop and not do that. Oh, I could skip the networking meeting because I have a client call. And I tell everyone, this is your pipeline building, right? You gotta hold those times because
Yeah.
you're building your pipeline. I think a lot of people don't look at pipeline. We've had people come in and they do great and they're like, I'm really too busy. I can't do networking right now. I got to pull back from the group and put my membership on pause or do that. Like, that's great. You're busy now. What about 6 months, a year from now when you lose
Right.
those clients? So
Right.
I think people too easily say, "Oh, I don't need to go to my BNI meeting this morning. I don't need to go to my networking meeting." I tell
Hmm.
everyone in our group, take 2 hours like on Fridays and just block that out. That is your pipeline building time. And if a client calls,
Yeah.
you know what? I know you want to drop everything for a client, but I'm sorry, I am busy from 10 to 12. I can't make that. That is
Right.
my time to build. So I think yeah, people just tend to blow it off a little too easy and say, I don't need to go to that meeting, but you have to put the time in. I think that's the biggest challenge with anything in networking is people don't put the time in. Oh, it's not working for me. Well, how many meetings are you going to? You have
Right.
560 people in our group to meet. How many have you met? I met 30.
Hmm.
So of those 30 people, you haven't gotten a deal yet, and you're going to give up already. You have to.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
your business. Like you're here,
Yeah.
you joined a networking group to get business, and most people, they either own a company or they're head of sales that join networking groups. You have to put that time in. So you
Hmm.
just got to stick to it and put that in your calendar and don't change. Don't deviate from what your calendar says. I'm sorry, Bill, I cannot meet you at 8 tomorrow. I have a meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Consistency is important, and also perspective. So the way that I look at it is, yeah, I'm going to have a meeting with that one prospect, but in my networking meeting, how many prospects are waiting for me on the other side of the people that are in the meeting? It could
Right.
be 10, it can be 15, it could be 20. And everyone's pretty flat. I believe today, nowadays, especially when it comes to virtual meetings, people are much more flexible in being able to move meetings. So I think that's a great choice.
Right.
What what would you say is in well, here's the thing. You were at a live networking event last night in New York City.
Right.
I'm just curious, so my show is All Selling is Social. I talk about the social aspect to every sales methodology. And certainly in person, people do some kind of antisocial things once in a while. I'm curious, did anybody come up to you and try to pitch their product or service like right away, right after they met you?
They all do. I mean, it's unfortunate that people still do that. And I think it's either you're new to networking or whatever, and it's like, hey, what do you do? Hey, let's get on LinkedIn. Like, I don't want to link in with you. I don't really know what you do yet. Let's have a conversation. So like there's actually a guy last night, Justin Guarini, who was on American Idol. He the first season, I don't know if you remember, but he was, Kelly Clarkson took off. This guy, Justin Guarini, was the runner up. But I just went up to him and talked to him. I said, listen, I've never seen, I remember when you were on that 25 years ago, and it was amazing. I was never in awe of somebody singing like that. And that got me hooked on it. And just start a conversation with him, not, hey, tell me more about your LinkedIn thing. Tell me just conversation about other stuff. And then
Hmm.
that'll lead to, a nice relationship. And he actually came up at the end and we started talking again. And it's like, oh, this guy's not trying to sell me. He's just,
Right.
building and so you got to start with something different. Hey, what are you doing? Tell me more about yourself a little bit. People just tend to go right in for the kill, and it's like just slow it down a little bit, So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
And I know, and that happens so much in the digital space now, whether it's our email or it's on a social media platform, LinkedIn, especially in the DMs, where people are trying to connect and pitch right away. And I wonder now that we're getting back to some more in-person events, if that's not influencing people doing that more in person. I used to kid around about being the fastest business card in the room because I'd whip it out to give it to someone when I first got back into sales, not realizing that, wow, people were like, not that doesn't, people don't like that. They don't
yeah.
want that to happen.
Yeah, for me, it's like you find somebody in the room that could be a great referral person for you. And that's all. If you walk out of that room that night with that person and like, hey, that guy Bill could be awesome for my business, stick with Bill.
Mhm.
You don't have to
Yeah.
go around the room and see everyone else because the chances of getting another person that's as good as this person could be, just stick with them, talk with them, build up
Right.
rapport, hang out with them. Like I wound up talking to a woman last night and I said, hey, do you mind if I sit next to you? And by the end of the dinner, me and her were like this, and we didn't
Yeah.
really talk much about business. We talked about other things. Where do you live? And the kids, and we had a nice rapport. And now I'll follow up with her, and we'll talk business later and stuff.
Right.
But some of the people can be really great referrals. And she was tight with a guy. I was there to meet one person last night,
Hmm.
and I
Yeah.
went up to him and I talked to him, and I said, and he was running the event, but my sole purpose was to talk to this guy. And that's all I
Hmm.
needed to do. And I didn't get to talk to him till the end of the night. I would have left earlier because it was way past my bedtime. 8:45 when I left, I had 15 minutes to get to bed in a Ford.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk to him, and I went up, David, hey, this, that. I told him real quick, just, oh, yeah, Nick told me about it because I had been talking to his right-hand person. So I'm going to be on his podcast soon. But I just want to put a face to the name. David, I know you're busy.
Hmm.
This is your event. I just want to let you know. Oh, yeah, Joe, Nick told me about it. Great. And I got a nice little rapport going with him, but not trying to be like, here's my card, here's my thing. I even thought about bringing
Right.
a book to give him. I'm like, no, you know what? This is his event. Don't bother him.
Hmm.
Try and sell him on stuff. And it's just good to say hi. So I think if you go in and you find one person, I actually went last night. I was waiting for this guy who was doing an interview. So I went across the street uh, and I wound up going into this bar. I had a long drive into New York City from New Jersey, so I used
Hmm.
the restroom. And then I'm like, I should buy a drink, and I feel bad if I just use the restroom. So I sat down. And I started talking to this guy next to me. He wound up being a great person for me to talk to. I was like, "What?" And he started talking to me about what you do. We wound up talking. I got his business card, and it was just I spent
Hmm.
15, 20 minutes with him because I was like, "Wait, he's a great connection for me." Guy produces awesome videos and things like that. So I was like, you know what? So we had a nice rapport, and I wound up getting another lead. But I'm like, I'm going to stay and talk to this guy because he could be great for me. But you find that one person that could be good for you. I think that's all you really, you need. Obviously, you want to get as many leads as you can at a night, but don't just go around and try and meet 20 people who probably 18 of them have nothing that they could do for you. And not
Right.
that you just, you
Right.
want to do stuff for them as well, but people are just going around. Here's my card. Here's my card. Here's my card. I saw the
Yeah.
people last night doing it, and it's like
Hmm.
not really building rapport with any of those people.
No, no, just handing out cards. So I know about the Connective, and I'm thrilled to be a part of it. So tell the audience just a little bit about the Connective and how it got started and what the drawing factor is to it.
Yeah, well, it's pretty simple. And again, my the book I put out, Connectors Get Paid, is very simple, right? I'm not trying to plug the book, but show, but
We're plugging the book. We are
so
plugging the book.
okay, good. We're plugging the book. But Connectors Get Paid is the simple, and we trademark that. We trademark Connectors Get Paid. It's all about, listen, we've all been giving referrals, right? A lot of us that are great referral givers over the years have given out tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, some people. And everyone kind of is like the same thing. I wish I kind of got paid on that. Like because look, it's you want to get paid, you want to get that reciprocation, but a lot of people aren't good connectors. They're just not, and you're not going to change them. So it's like, great, if you're not a good connector, I am. I'm happy to give you business, Bill, but just how about paying me? And that was the whole premise behind our group, the Connective and in Enoledex, is like, let's all start paying each other for referrals. So the great referral givers are now getting paid. And the people
Mhm.
that aren't great at giving referrals are like, hey, Bill, I please give me business. I don't like selling. I don't like networking. I'm very introverted. Right? People just don't like it. They sit in the corner of the room. They're afraid to talk. Like, and that's just people's personality, right? I'll talk to anybody, but others aren't. But they're like, I will, Bill, if you could get me clients, you have a client that needs my service, I am happy to pay you so I don't have to do it. Right? So we're just putting those two together. And
Mhm.
now what
Mhm.
happens, and I've seen it in other networking groups where I give you 5 referrals and you never reciprocate, Bill, right? And then you get up in your room and you're like, hey, Joe gave me, I closed another deal from Joe. I closed another deal from Joe. And I'm like, all right, well, where, Bill, you can't introduce.
Yeah.
So so it creates that bottleneck where like I stop giving you referrals because I'm kind of like, all right, Bill, now it's like every time I give you a referral, I'm going to get paid. Yeah, I'll
Mhm.
keep sending you business.
Yeah.
It keeps that
Yeah,
flywheel
for
going.
sure.
Like, oh, you listen, Bill maybe doesn't have anyone who can refer me to, but I made $1,000 off of that deal. I made another thousand. He knows how to close business. So my clients are happy with him, and I'm getting paid every time I send a referral. It changes the whole dynamic of networking, right? And it
Yeah,
just keeps it all going.
and I'll say, I've been a member now for 2 weeks, and the caliber and the quality of the people who are involved in the Connective are a cut above. I've been a part of many networking groups, and I don't put them down at all. It's just if you're in B2B, if you sell B2B, it's a great place to be. That's a little alliteration for you. But it's a great place to be because you're going to meet really good quality people. So
Well,
I am plugging the book. Connectors Get Paid. We'll have a link to buy it in the show notes. So talk about the book a little bit. And does that just tell the story more
yeah, it tells the
about?
story and it talks about networking groups, how I built a referral network that pays. And again, back to the just the networking real quick at a time. The problem with networking groups, I think, right now too, is they're all membership groups. So, and when you talk about quality, right? Every networking group right now, people started, they're charging $50, $100, whatever they charge. They want to get members. Their only source of revenue is membership. So guess what? Maybe Bill's not the best person for our group, but if he's willing to pay $100 a month and I get another 10 people like Bill, I get $12,000. So I'm going to let people in. That's the problem. So with us,
Mhm.
we built a group to pay the referrals. So I don't care about your $100 a month that you pay to be a part of the group. I care that you can bring deals, close deals. You're going to do a great job for a customer, right? Because when you refer somebody and they do a great job, that person comes back to you, right? So the network we built is where like I referred one of my friends in town here, David, is the head of marketing for a company. I referred him to one of our people, Mike Fronti. He's been using Mike for 2, 3 years now, and he's done wonders for his business. He comes to me now with asking for more referrals. Hey Joe, do you have someone that does this? Hey Joe, do you have someone that does that? So it
Mhm.
really gets that going. So we really want people to build these communities and do them the right way. So the connectors get paid. The book is how we built our group, how we got our group to 500. I've talked to tons of networking groups over the year that we're looking to put onto Nolodex, and they're like, yeah, we have 60 people, we have 100 people. Like, wait, you've been doing this for 10 years now, and you have 60 people,
Mhm.
right? Well, I don't want to ask my people to pay referral fees, but we are. And we have
Mhm.
560 people after 3 years. Like,
Yeah.
you see the difference there?
Yeah.
And I've talked to
Yeah.
tons of people. There's another guy down in Florida. He's got 12 different groups, and they all meet in person. They're all about 30 people. So you got 30 different disparate groups that never talk to each other. Why
Mhm.
aren't you putting them all on one
All
platform?
together.
All 12 groups can talk to each other. Now Bill has 360 people he could talk to instead of the 30 people he meets every week. Why aren't you connecting those
Mhm.
people? So, yeah, the book is all about, hey, how do you build this? How do you charge? How do you do the referrals? We tell all the secret sauce where it's not like hey, this is our group. We don't want anyone to know what we did. This is how we've become a 560 member group and continually growing. We've done nothing but grow since we started because it works. And if you follow our formula, and that's what the book's about, here's how we did it. We hope you
Mhm.
do it too. We're not a competition with other networking groups. You should be in a bunch of networking groups if you're out there in business.
Mhm.
So this is how we did it, and this is how we've gone to this level. And everything we've done, it works. And here's some tools we use. Here's how we pay out our people. Here's how our people that run our chapters get paid. Pay your people, right? Incentivize your
Right.
people. That's the big
Mhm.
problem with groups because again, I was in BNI, right? And BNI is great. I love BNI. I was in BNI for 10 years. But everyone that's volunteering there, none of them get paid. right? But
Yeah.
if you're
Yep.
paying someone to run that group, it's a little
Hmm.
different, right? So maybe they're making $1,000, $2,000 a month. At least they're getting, look, if you're making $2,000 a month, that's 24 grand a year. That's not nothing.
Yeah.
And you
No.
should be more incentivized to help grow that group and engage those people. And then if you're getting a cut of
Hmm.
deals on top of a cut of the dues, you're going to incentivize people. Hey, Bill, did you meet Sarah? She just joined the group. You can't
Right.
really talk,
Yeah.
right? So
Hmm.
that's the big thing, the incentive, right? And that's what we're talking about. What connectors get paid. Here, put an incentive, and what's better incentive than money, right? And you start getting paid, you're like, yeah, you're
Yeah.
gonna work harder. So it all works. And that's again, if you read the book, it tells you exactly how we did it from start to scratch. Start to
Great.
scratch.
So yeah, so we'll throw the link in for Connectors Get Paid. Pick up a copy. Also check out. We'll put links for Joe's LinkedIn as well as the Nola for Noladex and the Connective. But as we bring this to a close, gonna put you on the spot. Top two networking tips to do. Top two networking tips not to do.
Well, the first thing is put the time in, right? If you don't put the time in, you are not going to be successful. And I've seen it all along. People leave, oh, it's not working for me. Well, what's not working? You haven't been to meetings, you haven't been meeting with people. It's not going to work if you don't put yourself out there and let people know what you do. So you have to put the time in. Again, it's your business. You joined it to get
Hmm.
business. You got to put the time in, right? Do you
Hmm.
think
Hmm.
I wanted to drive to New York City when I first started this thing at 5 o'clock in the morning? No, it sucked, but you have to put the time in to do it. And the second thing is to follow up, right? People don't
Yeah.
follow up. It's a simple
No.
sales thing, but people do not follow up. They'll go on like, oh yeah, I sent that person 3 notes, they didn't respond, and they gave up. It might take a year. Or it might take a year
Hmm.
and a half. I had one deal that took a year and a half before the guy responded to me after our first meeting, and then boom, then the thing comes up. And people don't follow up. I had a guy just recently I met last year, and now I wanted to hire him, and I couldn't remember his name or his company. But he never followed up with me again. He just gave up,
Right.
right? Or people,
Yeah.
I had another
Yeah.
person I sent, hey, I have someone looking for your services. No response. I follow up again Friday. I have someone look, no response the next week. Sorry, I was busy last week. Well, they already found somebody else, and it was a
Yeah.
perfect deal for you,
Yeah.
right? So that's one thing. What not to do? Um, every you got to get your pitch down. Very short and
Hmm.
simple, right? And I get people on every week. We introduce people and said, give me 30 seconds what you do. And they go on for 2 minutes, 3 minutes about, I started here, then I moved over here. By
Hmm.
the end of the 3 minutes, nobody knows what you're talking about. Nobody,
Hmm.
you know what you're talking about, right? And then people say, who's your best referral, Bill? Tell me what's your best referral. I'm looking for any business that does this,
Yeah.
right? Not
Yeah.
any business. I can't help you, Bill. If you don't tell me
Right.
what you're looking for, any business, okay, any
Hmm.
business. I know a million businesses. I don't know which one is good for you. Joe, I'm looking for business in the manufacturing space that do this. I'm looking
Hmm.
for businesses in the healthcare space. Be specific, and you could have 3 or 4 different targets you're going after and change them up each
Right.
time. But Bill, do you know anyone in the manufacturing space? Oh,
Hmm.
you know what? Yes, my cousin runs a manufacturing. But it triggers that person's brain to be like, I do know somebody.
Yeah.
If I say
Yeah.
any business, I mean, I don't know. Okay. I got the doctor
Yeah.
on the street. You want to talk to the dentist? No, that's not a good referral for me. Well, you said any
But you
business.
said anybody. Right.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
anybody is not a good way to get a referral.
Great. Awesome. Awesome. Well, Joe, thank you so much for taking the time. And so, my friends, check Joe out. Look him up on LinkedIn. Look at the Connective. Look at Noladex. And by all means, go check out the book, Connectors Get Paid. And we'll see you the next time. Joe, thanks for being with
Yeah,
us.
this is
And
great, Bill.
as you're all out there going through your week, don't forget to be social. We'll see you next time.
You got me loose and set me free. You make me win.